I've got with me Kristen Fletcher from MeVee, and I'll spell that MEVEE, a new video live streaming app, and we're just going to have a quick riff about live streaming generally and what's happening with MeVee. It's right at the cutting edge. Welcome, Kristen.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Trevor.
So you're based in New York. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about what you do and what MeVee does, and for those people who haven't heard of it.
Perfect. So MeVee is based in New York City startup, and I am their Chief Communications Officer.
Yep.
My name's Kristen Fletcher, and I work very closely with Tomer Dicturl, our CEO, and Ryan Hickman is our CTO. Tomer and Ryan started MeVee back in 2014 in December. They both used to work with big brands and athletes on their own social media and integrations with brands, and they did a few live streams where they set it up just like on an individual desktop, not using any specific platform. Like Ryan would build the live stream himself. He's been doing it for the last 9 years, actually.
Wow.
And they did one, and they saw it take off, hundreds of thousands of views for one of their performers that they were working with, and they looked at each other and they were like, "This is it. This is the future," and they like couldn't believe it. So they got right to work, and they've done, they've just been in development for the last year or so, and we launched live beta on January 3rd. We're in the App Store right now. Our version, as it currently stands, there's bugs. We have some glitches, but we also have a really great growing community and some really amazing feedback from people already. And we're just so excited for people to be trying it out, especially some of the people who are live streamers, who really understand live streaming at its core and who have been doing this since the early days of live streaming. And I think it's exciting to see where they see live streaming going, because it aligns a lot with where we see where it's going, but also helps guide us too to create the app and really mold it to their needs. So MeVee at its core, we're a business, and Tomer and Ryan, they set it up as such. They wanted to make sure that they could sustain a growing community. So we have ad revenue sharing and advertising revenue in general, just already generating dollars in our closed beta. So with that, we're sharing advertising revenue with brands and top streamers. Top streamers can get the majority of their advertising revenue from their stream. So it's an exciting opportunity too for live streamers, and even at some point for the average user, because they can grow their own business really through MeVee.
Yeah.
With that said, all of the features and all of the things that differentiate MeVee stem out from there. So we want to maximize views and exposure for those streams, because that means also maximizing advertising revenue. So our streams don't disappear. You can actually find them online too at mevee.com/their username. And anyone can view the streams even without the app. The streams can be shared to any social media channel, so Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Weibo, whatever social media channel you have on your phone, you can share it there. And, and we also emphasize discoverability. So we have search functions. We have the ability to search for streams by keyword and hashtag, trending, location, all of those features, but we really want to make it easy to find things. So we also have channels, so sports, music. We also see, a lot of room to grow there as well, in terms of like if there's a, big event or a conference, maybe we'll have a South by Southwest channel, things like that. Okay. So that's MeVee in a nutshell. We are just hitting the ground running here. Live beta, like I said, and we're hoping to get our next version out really, really soon, and make some really exciting stuff happen.
So when you talked about where you see live stream going and as a medium, and talking with the people that are really out there doing it and experimenting or have been doing it for some time, where do you see live stream going, and how can brands, organizations, individuals, people who run personal brand-based businesses or non-profits, how do you think that they can use live streaming, and what should they be looking at doing at this point?
At this point, just building their brand. So that's one of the things that MeVee is really helping you do, is build your brand, because our streams don't disappear. You have your own personal channel. you can, create a stream that you do daily or weekly, creating that cadence. And it's almost like creating your own TV show. Mm-hmm. And that said, one of the things that we constantly talk about is content and how do we create great content? Are we a media company? Do we have reporters? Are you a reporter? It's really lowering those barriers to entry for journalists. It's the same thing that other social media has done. You see Twitter, you see people becoming social media journalists. Live streaming is an extension of that. And I think it's exciting to think about where that's going to take us in terms of news, reporting, sports. I'm saying news first because I'm a news junkie. But beyond that, even the entertainment world, all those behind the scenes, we're really excited, as you hear my Slack going. We have all of the we're excited about the content, not necessarily what you'd watch on TV, but all of the other stuff. So the behind the scenes, the interviews after the show, all of the things around it that give a fuller picture of what's actually going on in that really polished and crisp television show that you watch or event that you see. So we see it as access and then also branding and then also this really interesting new type of content. So
yeah, it's interesting. I think that's the thing too, is that live streaming has got tremendous application is behind the scenes and taking people behind the scenes of your organisation. If you're running an event, we can, take people behind the scenes of that event, do vox pops. If you've got brand ambassadors, get them out, riffing on your behalf. Get your CEOs and leaders and entrepreneurs getting out there talking about their businesses and et cetera, et cetera. So I think, those things have got quite a lot of power. Humanisation of the organisation, of the brand, I think, from a PR brand comms perspective is pretty important.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you say the PR comms perspective because the other cool thing about live streaming is it can't really be edited and what you see is what you get. And there's some kind of authenticity that you get from live streaming that you don't necessarily get from an edited YouTube video or an edited video at all. And so just live streaming as a whole, it's really exciting. And I know that live streamers themselves will know if they're watching this, the community feels like they all know each other because it's so authentic, it's so real, it's so transparent that the first time a lot of people meet each other in person and they actually hug, there's no like, oh hi, nice to meet you. It's because they feel like they already know you. So I think that speaks a lot to the power that it can offer brands. If that's just happening at this small micro community level, imagine what that does to humanize your brand.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that whole unvarnished, unpolished, we like that as people. That's going to scare off a lot of companies as well. But the ones that really take that on board, they're the ones that are just going to start connecting, having more connection with the audience. And it's sort of like, it's a hard thing to probably describe. It's probably more mindset driven. But when you see it in action, it makes a big difference. And I think that and real time. So it's real time, unvarnished, direct video out, and then it's archived for later. There's some really good things there. So it's not just one big production, but it's a body of work over time. So you have to front up.
Right. No, it's exciting, and I can't wait to see which brands are the first to really sink their teeth into it because I think it's such an untapped space, and we're really just starting to scratch the surface, and that's where we're trying to create MeVee to grow with wherever live streaming eventually goes because it's such an uncharted territory.
Awesome. Well, congratulations with it all. I know it's really early days and teething problems, and but let's look towards the future of where things can go, and you're still you're at the forefront, and you're doing some things differently to the periscopes of this world. So there's room for it's raising the bar across the whole medium.
We're excited.
Is fantastic, and there are people in Australia doing it. You've got people around the world using it, and I'm using it, and I'm getting good views, and just getting used to the whole live streaming thing, which I think it does take a little bit of time. You've got to give it a bit of time and a bit of practice to get it right. And but then it's all a bit of fun. And I look forward to continuing to use MeVee and following the journey.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks, Kristen.
Thanks, guys.